Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's October 18th, 2022, and today I'm going to do, at the request of Michael, a review of my Ego chainsaw. So recently I posted a video about the Saker mini chainsaw, and I really like that a lot so far. It's one of those tools that, you know, once you get it, you say, geez, why didn't I get this before? And so that stimulated Michael to ask, well, geez, if you like this chainsaw, what about the other ones? And I mentioned in that video that I have several different two-cycle chainsaws, and I have a corded electric chainsaw as well. And I have Echoes, Makita, Husqvarna, and all good saws. I don't have a steel saw, but I've had quite a few different, you know, a Sears and Roebuck saw from years ago that I no longer have. And so behind me here, you can see one of the log piles I created this year. I have and this is pretty thick as well. You may have seen from some of the other videos. And then I have another log pile that's about 1/3 this size, another one that's about a third this size. But if you add up all the trees that I've got down that I still haven't, many of I've limbed already, but and haven't taken off the root balls on, but I probably have at least 2.5 times as much as we've got right here. So I'm not your typical backyard consumer, but I thought I'd start off with my first battery operated chainsaw, which I still like a lot, and it's made by Greenworks. And I think that they were one of the breakthrough battery-operated chainsaw manufacturers that I first saw. I ended up buying their weed whacker, their leaf blower. I actually have 2 of their leaf blowers. What else do I have? I think I have their lawnmower as well. There's something else that I have that they made. And so here's their chainsaw here. It's filthy right now. I really haven't. I don't think I've even used this year. Ever since getting my Ego one, I haven't. And one of the things that you may recognize about me, like one of our biggest investments is in Tesla, our financial investments. And the reason that I chose that company was because of the technology that they're incorporating in their systems and all. And I'm not going to go over the Greenworks unit. I still think it's great. It's very good. The batteries I've had this for several years now, and it still functions extremely well. This takes 40-volt lithium-ion batteries. And one of the things I want you to see about this battery, because I'm going to contrast this with the Ego one, but it's shaped like a brick. So they have the same type of lithium-ion batteries, and I won't get into my talk about the difference in the different types of lithium-ion batteries, but I want to talk a little bit about, by the end of this, talk a little bit about the battery management system and the thermal management system, because that's going to determine how long the piece of equipment will last at high RPMs, whether you're using a leaf blower, a weed whacker, a chainsaw, and you're really cranking it out and going to work with it. The thermal management is a key important point, and the battery management system, and they're closely related. There are some small holes on each side of this battery, but when this battery fits into this chainsaw, it sits right in there, and it's within a hard plastic container. So thermal management is similar to all of the other, whether it's Husqvarna, Makita, all of the different manufacturers that make the chainsaws and the power tools out there. We have these brick designs. We don't have as good of battery management systems as what we see in the Ego system. But this does have, you know, a self-adjusting or easily adjusting bar on this. Oiler is good on this. You know, everything about this. It has a sight gauge for the oiler. The Greenworks chainsaw is great. So I'm not going to poo-poo this. but that's old technology. The Ego system, their whole system seems to be so much better. It's like it's one of those. They're just in vertically integrating the battery management system, the thermal management system, the balancing system of the chainsaw, the self-adjusting components of the chainsaw. Geez, this one even has a light on it. And I never thought I'd use a light in a chainsaw because I don't want to be out there in the dark, but there are emergency situations where I've done it in the past. But when I'm working in the forest and storm clouds come over, it gets dark enough, and I have used the LED light on this chainsaw once. So this is the Ego 18-inch chainsaw. I think I have to touch the screen here so I can see if I'm in camera. So this is the 18-inch Ego chainsaw. It's really well balanced. This has the 5 amp hour battery on it right now. So when I press the button, it'll show you just how well charged it is. That's one feature that I like an awful lot, is being able to see what's the state of charge on this. And I'll just go over a couple of things with it. It's got the safety button here for you can't depress the trigger like most chainsaws. It's got a mechanical brake on it. So this isn't just an electric brake on it. This actually locks it, and it's got a red mark here so that you can actually see that the brake is on when it's on. It has a sight gauge for the oiler when you need to put oil in it. It takes a standard Oregon chain and bar for this unit. It has the newer ones have the newer bucking teeth on them, so it can grab in, but I typically don't. I get this thing right up in the RPMs, and it works great. And I should stop for a second and just say about one of the reasons that I really want, there's a lot of reasons that I wanted to go to battery operated equipment here on the property. Certainly there are the environmental issues. And with ethanol being put in gasoline and gasoline prices and using the oil with these systems, I ended up doing more work on my chainsaws over time. There's more maintenance and all. And the less time that I'm fixing things, the more time that I can be spent doing the things that I enjoy or doing the work that I need to do. So that's really important for me. And I would consider the Greenworks chainsaw as a homeowner or consumer product. I consider this somewhat of a prosumer product because there are arborists that use this. Now you'll see them, arborists using the steel and the Husqvarna chainsaws as well when they're up there in the trees because they're light. You don't have to keep pull starting them and all. But I think that this is going to last much longer than other chainsaws. One of the things that most people would like, you don't need to have the tools with this chainsaw. If the chain starts getting a little bit loose, you just back it off and then give it a retighten it finger tight, and the chain is automatically adjusted. There is a small, I'll take it off right now. Bear with me one second here while I just unwind this green tab that you could see. And so this is just a basic Oregon bar and chain, and there's one screw that holds this automatic adjusting part on it. If you want to flip the bar over, you just take the one screw out, you turn it over, put it on this side, put the screw in, and you're set. If you need to change the bar, you just keep this one part, and that makes it so it's self-adjusting. This chainsaw does leak a little bit of oil, but leaks barely any compared to the rest of my chainsaws. So that's another good feature. And it has the LED light on it. As I mentioned, I don't know that most people would use it, but it came in handy one time. It's really well balanced. It's not super heavy. It does take two hands to operate this, unlike the Saker mini chainsaw. But this is my go-to chainsaw, and out of all the stuff you see here, This one did 95% of it, and you know, it really does a good job. I bought this with, I can't remember if it came with a 2.5 amp hour. I think it came with the 5 amp hour. So this is the 5 amp hour battery, and it looks funny, nothing like the brick. So let me finish my train of thought here. So I plan on, when the timing is right and the prices are right, buying a couple of their 7.5 amp hour batteries. Because I think I can get even more cuts out of it. This 5 amp hour battery will last me, I don't know, probably 200 to 300 cuts if I'm just limbing trees and all. We're talking about branches this size, that sort of thing. When I'm cutting the bigger, you know, 12, 14, 16 inch diameter logs, I'm probably, and if it's a good hardwood and it's good wet wood, I might get 12 or 13 full cuts, and then this will start petering down. And again, you just press the button and you can see the state of charge of them. I have three batteries. I have two 5 amp hour ones, and I have I think it's 2.5 amp hour one. I do want to break down and purchase a couple of the 7.5 amp hour batteries. I have purchased their weed whacker, which I absolutely think is the best weed whacker I've ever had. Again, less hassle dealing with things. Grab it and go is what I like, and that goes with the automated string feeder, so you're not playing with winding up the twine on the weed whacker. I have I want to get the leaf blower. I haven't gotten that yet, and I just purchased the I'm going to call it a hedgerow trimmer, which I have, and I'll probably make a video about that as well. I haven't used that yet, just been too busy. But let's just spend a couple of seconds talking about this battery. Now, I showed you the brick. The brick is set up where when you take these apart, those of you who have taken the batteries apart before, you see all of these cylindrical batteries mounted close together. And in the center of that cluster of batteries, they're very susceptible to thermal effects. Heat and cold, those of us that have been working with battery operated cars know that you don't want the battery to get too hot and you don't want the battery to get too cold. So the battery management system and the thermal management system really needs to be above and beyond. That's why I love Tesla. No other auto manufacturer is even close to the battery technology or the motor technology yet. But this isn't about Tesla, this is about the ego. The ego system, if we look at this and we see the shape, I think they call it their arc lithium. I can't remember what they call it, like does it say in here? Arc lithium, ARC. And it's because the batteries are set, there's double rows, 6 batteries on this side, 6 batteries on this side, and only 2 in the center there. And you see all these vent holes all around it, on the top, on the sides, on the bottom. That is part of an excellent thermal management system. They don't have it in a brick, they have it in an arc form where each battery is just up against one other battery. Now these two here, there's 2 batteries that have a couple of batteries next to them, but because of the ventilation system, it's really good. Then each cell is wrapped in a thermal dissipating wrap that helps with the cooling system as well. Then you would say to yourself, okay, I got all these holes in it out here all over the place. What about the moisture? I'm out here, it's raining at times, it's snowing in here, I'll set it down in the snow, it'll be sitting in the rain and all. So we have the electronics in there. The batteries are actually okay, but the electronics, this battery management system back here, is in a sealed compartment. And that's excellent because that is going to control everything going on with the batteries. One of the advantages of having an excellent thermal management system is when I work up any of my other types of batteries that I've got that are like bricks, you plug it into the charger and you gotta wait for the battery management system to say, hey, you know what, it's too hot to charge right now. It'll take forever to charge. When you have a brick like this, it's thermally managed. The battery management system is the instant I plug this into the to the charger, it immediately starts charging, and a half an hour later I've got a battery ready to go. Now this one may be 40 minutes. I know my 2.5 is probably less than 30 minutes to fully charge. I haven't actually timed it, but it's so much quicker than anything else. And those of you who've been working with these brick batteries will recognize sometimes you plug it in, it'll give you the different light saying it's too early to charge yet. You got to walk away, let it cool down, then it starts charging and it charges slow. The battery technology is so important when buying battery operated equipment, and especially cars as well, because the longevity of those cells is really important. Like, for instance, I really like DeWalt tools, but they're going down the wrong path now with their battery systems. Unfortunately, they're going with some pouch systems. And not to knock them, I really do like the DeWalt tools, but you know, there is cutting edge technology out there where we can prolong the life of the equipment, and they don't have to be recycled as often as so many people have to turn their batteries in and get them recycled. These also if you don't use it, let's say you fully charged it up and then a snowstorm came and you're not going to use it all winter, the battery management system in here will slowly discharge it so that you're not degrading the longevity of the battery as well. So it's a sealed battery management system, an open ventilated system. The way that it's set up and it plugs into it, it's constantly being cooled with all of the open surface, as opposed to that brick going into the compartments. So when you're going and you're purchasing your next chainsaw and you're getting a battery operated one, look at the shape of the battery, look at the ventilation system, look at how the battery is housed inside of the equipment. Sometimes it's so encapsulated inside of the chainsaw that heat is just going to build right up in there. And you know, you want to wind this one, the chain moves at, I think it's 66 feet per second. So it's going to zip right through things. And believe me, this thing cuts like crazy. I have not sharpened this blade, and this is the original blade that came on it a year and a half ago. And I've cut a lot of wood with it. So it's not fully sharp. I haven't dinged I haven't hit any nails that I'm aware of. I've gotten into a little bit of dirt, but it was like sand, and I immediately cleaned it off. But the Ego system is really good. I plan on getting their leaf blower. I love their weed whacker. If you want, I'll do a review on the weed whacker as well. These are tools that I work with. They don't get babied. I don't spend a lot of time working with them. I like pulling out the battery, knowing it's going to get charged right away. With 2 batteries, you can go out and do some more cutting, take that battery out, put it in the charger. By the time you're done discharging the battery that you just used, you've got the other battery ready to go again. So you can just keep going, and they aren't going to build up the heat. I think I mentioned before, I tried out some of their best of the line from Harbor Freight, and I do like some of the tools from Harbor Freight. I'm a big fan of their US General toolboxes. They've got some tools that are fantastic, but their electric motor technology, their battery technology, and their thermal management technology, and their battery management systems, they're like so many of the other manufacturers, even the car manufacturers. They're using technology from well over a decade ago. And Ego, that company's got it together. So when they make a bigger chainsaw, I'll be one of the first ones to get it, hopefully. And I'm actually thinking about picking up one of their battery operated lawn mowers, one of the riding mowers that they have. I almost bought one last year, but it was like a year delay getting it. But it's the battery technology that's so important. All the rest of the things are really good. The self-adjusting or easy adjusting chain tension is awesome. I like that they're using off-the-shelf Oregon bars and chains. And so far I really like how little this one leaks. It's just a tiny bit of oil that I've seen leak out of this one at all. So I think that's about it for my overview of the Ego chainsaw. I do think that the Greenworks, they've been out there for years. I've had this one for years since they first came out. Their pole saw is still awesome. It's too heavy when I get two lengths, so I'm about 15 or 16 feet, so I can get up about 20 foot in a tree and cut things. But it's top heavy, it's in all. And so Greenworks, I don't see them making the technological advances that Ego is, but the Greenworks is my second in line for their development in these. Husqvarna and Stihl, I don't think are even close to the Ego at all. So not to knock them too much. And I think Husqvarna and Stihl make some of the best gas-powered chainsaws out there. So I think that's about it. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. By all means, folks, stay safe, take good care of yourselves, do the research when you're getting your equipment and all. These pieces of equipment rely on the battery integrity, the build quality, and their management systems. Take care and stay safe. Bye-bye now.